Hey everybody, this is Troy Brown. I am the Vice President and Director of Recruitment and Enrollment here at the University of West Los Angeles. We thought it important to discuss Juneteenth. So I'm here with President Brown to have a 5-minute, 6-minute discussion about Juneteenth and its importance. So let's begin the conversation. President Brown, thank you for joining us.
Great. Thank you, Troy. Thanks for having me.
Couple quick questions, and I know you're very busy, so we'll start with it now. First question is this. How important is Juneteenth and why?
I think Juneteenth is very important, Troy, in particular in these times. We are at a critical and very pivotal moment in the history of our country. There was a broad coalition of people who want to see change. They want to see the elimination of racial injustice, and they want to see equality on behalf of humanity in our society. So I think it's particularly important that we note this important date and what it means to the history of this country, and that it stands for the date that we determined, based upon this earlier conflict, that slavery was no longer tolerable in the United States.
Very great. Thank you for that, sir. The next question for you is this. Why is UWLA specifically celebrating Juneteenth for the first time in its 50-plus year history?
I think it's been an oversight on our part, actually. And so I think it's something that needed to be addressed and corrected. I think, like for a lot of other companies, we have not, until the recent spate of killings that have really awakened the consciousness of this entire country, did we really take time to really think about what we should be doing individually and collectively to address these issues. And a small way that we can do it is to observe the end of slavery, to remind people that slavery is over, but slavery is also at the heart of racism. So if we can recognize that slavery is no longer tolerable, should not be in existence, hopefully that will then lead to elimination of the symptoms of slavery, which are racism in our country, which result in, the atrocities that we see occurring, the brutal murderings of Black men and women throughout this country, without retribution.
All right. Definitely. Thank you for that. Last and final question. You've seen the racial cycles of our nation and the history of racism in our country. But is this the time of actual change, and why now?
Boy, Troy, that's a really tough question. It's one that really, begs at my heart, because I have seen this before. I've been through 4 of these periods, going back to the Watts riots in 1965, where I almost lost my life in the process. And each time, all of us hoped that we would never have to do this again. We'd never have to go through this process. People don't like to riot. People don't like to protest. They only do that when there's no other option. There's no other alternative. And so it's disappointing to have to go through this emotionally, physically, spiritually again. Yeah. But, hopefully it will be one of the last times. I'm not sure if it will be the last time, but I think we ought to seize on the moment and on the momentum. And I think that what I'm really encouraged about is the broad coalition that are building. It's not just Black people or brown people or yellow people. It is everybody. It's white people. It's people from different ethnicities. It's different countries. It's different religions. Everybody now is coming together and saying, hey, listen, we're part of the human body. The other, if one segment is not being treated well, then the rest of it can't be well. And I think that I'm really encouraged by that. I think that my generation failed your generation, quite candidly. We didn't do enough. We got a little bit of success. And this is one of the things I would warn your generation about. You start to get a little bit of success. People start to put a little bit of emphasis on it, and we all relax. And then the next thing we know, the old ways of one segment of our society attempting to dominate the other segment of society start to creep in again. And the converse is also true. No segment of society should try to dominate any other. It is important that we all uplift one another by respecting our humanities. So I'm encouraged. I want to be a part of, creating a permanent change on behalf of, my generation, your generation, and the generations after that, so that everybody can live a really fulfilled and joyful life. I think that's what it's all about. No one wants to protest. No one wants to riot. But we all want to, have social justice for our families and for our friends and for our communities.
Sure. Well, President Brown, we thank you for your time. I think this will be a new series that we have where we hear your insight. It's so valued for the university and for the community at large. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. I look forward to meeting with you again as well. It's been my pleasure.
Take care.